Every time Donald Trump's rhetoric against federal judges spins out of control, either by himself or by his appointed spokespeople, federal judges receive threats, including death threats. 1/3 of the federal judiciary, based on some new data leaked by a federal judge herself, whose son was killed in 2020 because the U.S. Marshal Service under the Department of Justice and Pam Bondi refused to reveal the information. This new data reveals that we've had a substantial spike, which tracks perfectly Donald Trump's out-of-control rhetoric attacking the federal judiciary. From May 1 to May 15th alone, 162 federal judges received threats, including death threats. 277 in total for the last 6 months. That's 1/3 of the judiciary. And what did Donald Trump do just today when he didn't like the results of the Court of International Trade in New York, a 3-judge panel, bipartisan, by the way. You had a Reagan, you had Obama, you had Trump represented. They all ruled against him that his tariffs were unconstitutional because that power resides in Congress. Now, Donald Trump has the right, of course, to take the appeal. And he took the appeal to the federal circuit, but that wasn't enough because spokespeople for Donald Trump immediately came out, led by Stephen Miller, who's not a lawyer, but plays one in the White House as Donald Trump's deputy White House chief of staff, and came out and said, of course, the same thing we hear over and over again. This is the kitchen magnet poetry of Donald Trump. Unelected federal judges out of control. It's a judicial coup. And what does that do to those that are unstable or unhinged or follow the DNA of the Jan 6th insurrectionists? That makes them act out and threaten federal judges. I think it's a poignant message that the person who leaked this information, the person that had to reveal it to the American public through the New York Times, Judge Esther Salas out of the District of New Jersey, her own son was shot and killed in 2020 by somebody who was against feminist judges because they had lost in certain federal proceedings in front of Judge Salas. And now adding insult to insult and showing how depraved these people are, there's a little quirky thing that they do. They send pizzas, hundreds of them, in the name of somebody like Esther Salas's dead son, to judges as a warning. And it's having an impact. I'm reporting on it right here on the MeidasTouch Network. This matters. It's not enough for Chief Justice Roberts, who is the CEO of all things judicial, to come out and say, don't call for impeachment. The rise in threats against judges is very troubling. Yeah, I get that. We got to do more. And Donald Trump has to be shut down and for what his rhetoric is doing. You know, he gets up in a social media post and calls Americans scum on Memorial Day. He goes after activists, radicalists, Marxists, left-wing judges. Right on cue, the social media network goes into overtime that Donald Trump pays from the White House perch and goes after and attacks these judges by names, whether it's Laura Loomer or any of the other right-wing activists. And it has real world consequences. Donald Trump's going to get a federal judge's head blown off. I mean, there's no other way to say it, or a family member. And the U.S. Marshal Service, which I used to have a lot of confidence in, is ultimately run by Pam Bondi. Who has confidence in her? The numbers are shocking. Even in this era where we get Trump fatigue, we got to wake up. Scales have got to drop from our eyes. You've got 162 judicial judge attacks and threats in a 2-week period in May. That's not a spike that we can ignore as an American people. This is what happens when you have a felon in chief, a lawless president who doesn't share our values. Who's a phony patriot. He's an anti-patriot, is the right way to put it. He's not protecting our constitutional republic. He's covering his own ass. He spends more time going after people that he finds to be nasty, like somebody that asked him, oh, well, do you know what taco means, sir? You know, which was in a Financial Times article from May 2nd, of all things. It means Trump always chickens out. Oh, it was a nasty question. I'm sure that guy's going to be banned and sent to an El Salvadoran prison for having asked that question. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of MeidasTouch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way. But all kidding aside, I'm worried about federal judges. I know people who know people, 1 degree of separation, who have spoken to federal judges, and it's having an impact on how they rule. Shout out to those like Judge Murphy and Judge Bates and Judge Beryl Howell and Judge Boasberg and Judge Zinnes, even Judge Rodriguez, Judge Sweeney, who stand up for democracy, who do their job for which they were appointed. Sure, they're not elected. That's not how our judges work. We don't want elected federal judges. We don't want elected Supreme Court judges. I mean, I may. You know, Donald Trump says, oh, they're unelected. I'm the only one that's elected. Okay, we get it. But that's not how the balance of power works or the separation of power works. Those judges did the right thing. But there are plenty of judges who are gun shy, who have post-traumatic stress disorder, post-Trump, current Trump stress disorder, and it's impacting their rulings. They're not going as far as they would because they're looking over their shoulder at who's following them and if they're going to be attacked and their families didn't sign up for this, you know? And the depravity of sending somebody like Judge Esther Salas pizzas with her dead son's name on it in order to make her uncomfortable. I applaud her. It's not getting enough coverage that she provided this Marshall data that was not publicly revealed to the New York Times. That's the importance of press. That's the importance of free media. That's the importance of what we do here on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF. I gotta circle the wagons and we gotta protect federal judges or all hope is lost. Law firms, lawyers, judges, law experts, independent media, we're in this together. We've gotta fight together. We can't be the silent majority in this country. We gotta speak up and speak out. It starts here on a network like MeidasTouch and a channel like Legal AF. And the work that we've been doing. This is the moment that I have been preparing for my entire career. There's a reason I left my prior firm. There's a reason that I committed full time to MeidasTouch and Legal AF even before the election. It's for this moment now. And I gotta be able to talk to you with truth without blowing smoke or sunshine. It is important and that we hold Donald Trump accountable. And if the press isn't gonna do it, then the voters are gonna have to do it. Because we're going to have to run these bastards out on a rail come midterms. Work now. Put your energy into voter registration. Put your energy into sending letters and phone banking senators and congressmen, congresspeople in your district. Go to rallies. and run for office. That's another thing we don't talk more about. School board, county boards, local town councils and commissions, planning and zoning boards. Get involved in our participatory democracy. You can make the difference, and that will be a stepping stone for you. Get involved with local democratic politics. Get involved on the national stage, the local stage, your county stage, your local clubs, up to the state and national level. And we'll continue to bring it to you right here without blowing smoke or sunshine. Every Wednesday and Saturday, MeidasTouch, we do Legal AF, the podcast at the intersection of law and politics. Legal AF, the YouTube channel. I got 12 amazing contributors over there that are doing work with me at the intersection of law and politics every hour to be a full service, one-stop shop for you at law and politics intersection. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.